Hello. Good coffee day. This is too hokey. Am I too ritualistic? Confucius taught about humans need their sense of ceremony. It's kind of what brings, or it's a base building block for the sense of community, a sense of ceremony. Of course, this is by no means a religious ceremony. It's a focal ceremony. I'm trying to get myself focused on my audience. And my audience is like indisposed. Alright, I didn't want to do this, and then I wanted to alright, so now let's empty my mind. Try to get to the first thing I wanted to get to. First thing I wanted to get to was yesterday. I really enjoyed how I had a random conversation, and then I lighted upon teaching that could just assist in the nature of understanding having opinions versus what is really reality. And today I thought I would like to get to a story about human nature in the form of my neighbors and the drama they're having. And I don't know if I'm going to get to that. I don't want to sidetrack right now because that's not the first thing I want to do. First thing I want to do is pick a random teaching, probably Bankei, and find out what I'm going to say by talking about the teaching and how I'm going to relate it to reality. And yesterday, just after I made my video, I got on the phone with my good friend, my Alaskan hermit friend, and we stayed on the phone for hours upon hours upon hours. And then later, another good friend of mine joined, my only reader of my blog and my only viewer of my videos, if I'm so lucky. But see, it's okay because these videos aren't for real time, right? And they're not for popularity. They are just a record. They are just, like I said before, they're just time spent. Time spent where I'm not having to cater to other people's schedules. I'm not having to change my opinion because other people have the power, etc. Freedom. Freedom from mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional opposition to being one's own self. And this is one way of pointing at at the study of Zen, because in the original self, oh, there I go again, talking before reading. That's because I thought of the Bankei verse that I was going to read to you, and now I'm preaching about it before I read it. Isn't that funny? Well, maybe not to you. Maybe not to you, but whether I look like a complete idiot, whether I am a damn fool. Okay. None of us are much better. That's the truth. none of us are much better. Okay, let me get to this teaching that I wanted to read to you today. Mr. Bankei is a Japanese Zen master from the 1600s, and in his day is an awful lot like today in terms of he really wanted to get enlightened. He was like, I'll do anything to get enlightened, including almost freaking die. You know, like, I'm going to meditate until I don't know what he's trying to do. Impersonate the Buddha? I don't know. But he sat there and he did these things, and then he come to his big secret. Oh, I just understood the big secret. And then he went around looking for real teachers. But see, all he really found were teachers who taught tradition, teachers who taught formalities, teachers who could say, ooh, it looks like this, and enlightenment looks like that, and if it don't look like that, then it's not enlightenment. But even that wasn't close enough. He couldn't find somebody to just was enlightened who could validate for him his own enlightenment, which is kind of weird sounding to a normal-minded person, I suppose. I guess I'm preaching again before I read, but at least I'm on topic. And anyway, the point is, every form of teacher or Zen or religion that he went across did nothing. Couldn't help him. Couldn't teach him. So he realized he was enlightened. That's the way it was. Nobody can verify for you what your enlightenment is. Seems to me they can totally convict you of or verify to for you that what it is not. But so anyhow, after he got enlightened, and he discovered the unborn mind, and it's pretty, it's a good story, and I'm not telling it well. But he was meditating to the point of he was very sick. He was about ready to die, and he's like, pulls himself up, and he coughs up and hawks a loogie that plops on the wall, and he just kind of stood there and stared at it. He stared at it fall down the wall. What kind of a spiritual story is this? The loogie enlightenment. But he did it. He had a loogie enlightenment. He realized that everything comes to you, it just comes from the unborn. And the only moment you have is this. You can't plan it. You can't. There's nothing you can do but be aware of what you're doing now. With blah blah blah, right? And I'm sure if perchance somebody cares and follows me, over time I will try to speak about these things, but I'm also trying not to jump the gun and assume that my audience already knows everything I'm talking about, because they don't. Because my audience, outside of my two good friends who do know what I'm talking about, would be my children and my grandchildren, and any YouTube viewer that wants to be adopted into that category. And the thing here is, while I could just make videos live to just get my talking out, the movement of the spirit, the story, the whatever, and put it on my computer and just forget about it, and why am I going through all this trouble of putting it out and making it public? Like, oh my God, don't I realize that I look like a damned idiot? Yeah, I do, and I don't care, because what I'm showing is self-acceptance, which is something that I want my children to learn for themselves, and my grandchildren as well, of course. What I'm showing is that human beings do not fit in forms. They will not conform to a certain mindset or value or even mental state. So yeah, you are going to see all kinds of mental states within, without, and all around, because that's how we are. That's how humans are. Sorry. Boom. Let me figure out what I'm going to read to you. And I think I'm just going to read these two things. And I suppose it talks about... Okay, shh, ready? These coffee time videos are only allowed to be as long as my coffee. I highly doubt I'm going to get something interesting to talk about that much longer than that. But if I do, it'll only be in celebration of 10 regular viewers. And it was celebrated most celebratorially. Celebratorially. Ooh, territorially. Two different new words. Alrighty. At the time I was young and first began to teach this true teaching of the unborn, no one was able to understand. When they heard me, people seemed to think I was some sort of heretic or Christian. See, he was way back in the Christian times, modern times, Christian, whatever. So they were frightened off, and no one would go near me. But in time they realized they were wrong and saw that what I was teaching was the true Dharma itself. Now, instead of my original situation where no one would even go near me, I am swamped with people coming to see me, anxious to meet me and listen to my teaching, and after me continually, so that they won't leave me in peace even a single day. Things come in their own due time. From time to time in the 40 years I've been here, I've taught others this true teaching of the unborn. And as a result, this area has produced lots of people who are superior to teachers of Buddhism. So, for you people too, let the reward for your trouble in coming here all this way now be that you'll return home having experienced complete realization of the Dharma, thoroughly and conclusively realizing the principle of the unborn without switching it for thoughts. What everyone has from his parents innately is the Buddha mind alone. But since your parents themselves fail to realize this, you become deluded too, and then display this delusion in raising your own children. Even the nursemaids and the babysitters lose their temper, so that the people involved in bringing up children display every sort of deluded behavior, including stupidity, selfish desire, and the anger of fighting demons. Growing up with deluded people surrounding them, children develop a first-rate set of bad habits, becoming quite proficient at deluding themselves, and turning it into unenlightened beings. Originally, when you are born, you're without delusion. But on account of the faults of the people who raise you, someone abiding in the Buddha mind is turned into a first-rate unenlightened being. This is something I'm sure you all know from your experience. Your parents didn't give you any delusions. Your parents didn't give you any delusions whatever when you were born. No bad habits, no selfish desires. But afterward, once you've come into the world, you picked up all sorts of delusions, which then developed into bad habits, so that you couldn't help becoming deluded. That which you didn't pick up from the outside is the unborn Buddha mind. And here, no delusions exist. Since the Buddha mind is marvelously illuminating, you are able to learn things, even to the point of thoroughly learning all sorts of deluded behavior. At the same time, since it's marvelously illuminating, when you hear this, you'll resolve not to be deluded, and from today on cease creating delusion, abiding in the unborn Buddha mind as it is. just as before, you applied yourself skillfully to picking up delusions and making yourself deluded. Now, you'll use the same skill to listen to this and stop being deluded. That's what a splendid thing the Buddha mind is. Listen, and you'll realize the preciousness of Buddha mind. Then, since there's nothing that can take the place of this precious Buddha mind, even if you want to be deluded, you won't be able to be anymore. It's because you don't realize the preciousness of Buddha mind that you indulge in self-centeredness, creating delusions that do you harm. Yet, those delusions are so precious to you that all of you actually want to become deluded, even at the risk of your own life. Foolish, isn't it? Unable to withstand the base impulses produced by your selfish desires, you become deluded. With all delusions, it's the same. Everyone insists that the way he likes to behave is his innate character, so he can't do anything about it at all. He'll never tell you how, exactly. He indulges in self-centeredness because of his selfish desires, holding on to those kinds of behaviors he likes instead. He tries to sound clever and talk about how it's all innate. To falsely accuse your own parents of something you never got from them is terribly unfilial. Is there someone who's born a drunkard, a gambler, or a thief? Or who's born with any sort of vice? No one's born that way. Once you pick up a taste for liquor, it promptly develops into a drinking habit. And then, because of selfish desire, you find yourself unable to stop, without realizing you've become deluded. It's only foolishness. So you've no cause to claim it's innate or pass off the blame onto your parents. When you hear this, I want you all from today on to abide in the unborn Buddha mind, just as it is. The unborn Buddha mind you have from your parents innately. Then, you won't create delusions about anything, and since no delusions will remain, you'll be living Buddhas, from today forever after. Nothing could be more direct. You've all got to realize this conclusively. Should I end that one here? No, I think it continues. We'll just go to the dots. Everyone, do exactly as I'm telling you. And following my instructions, start by trying to abide in the unborn for 30 days. Learn to abide in the unborn for 30 days, and from here on, even if you don't want to, whether or not you like it, you'll just naturally have to abide in the unborn. You'll be such a success at abiding in the unborn, since that which is unborn is the Buddha mind, you'll be functioning with the Buddha mind at all times. That way, you'll be living Buddhas here today, won't you? So listen to my teaching, just as if today you were all born anew and starting fresh. When you've got some fixed notion, you won't take it in what you hear. When you've got some fixed notion, you won't take in what you hear. Listen as if you were newly born right now. It will be like hearing my teaching for the first time. If you don't have any fixed notion in your mind, at a single word, you'll instantly understand and attain complete realization of the Dharma. Woo! That's nice. I love Mr. Bankei. He doesn't sound too zen. You see, on the one side you've got this beautiful, here's the mirror, look at it from right now, it's that easy. And then you have these other teachers that talk differently, and that's why I like each one of them. Excuse me. It's just, it's hard to talk about directly because, well, first off, it can't be talked about directly. And I'm learning this through trying to speak. Legend has it that Buddha spent 40 years after his enlightenment just trying to put words on it. And every single one of these Zen masters that I love all experienced the very same enlightenment as Buddha. And I bet they wanted to express it too. Some of them found out really, really ingenious ways. That's all I got to say about that. I really don't have nothing else. Well, again, pretty much talked before I read the teaching. And I didn't get to the story. Oh, the story that I have actually fits into this quite well. Pardon me. About the delusions. The delusions are why we lose contact with our unborn mind. To paraphrase very badly, I'm going to have a cigarette to tell this story. Alright. Bob and Larry. Okay? Bob. But Bob was talking to Larry's wife, and Larry's wife wanted to know if Larry was cheating on her, with somebody else. So Bob recorded a conversation between he and Larry where, "Hey, tell me about that time you fucked that girl." Yeah, I don't want to talk about this shit." "Oh, come on, you fucked her, didn't you?" "Well, you know I did." "That's so cool, man." And they went their separate ways. And then he told Larry's wife. Larry's wife, big fight, break up, divorce time. Bob's like, what? What? And it's like, his phone wasn't working, so he went up to his good friend Bob. "Hi, Bob. Can I use your phone?" Yes, said Bob. And so he gets on the phone. He goes back home. And now Bob says, "I'll be right back. I'm going to the store. And when I come back, I want my phone back." "No problem." Then he goes in. Then Bob. I'm sorry, this is Larry. Larry. Shut up. It's sin. This really happened, you know. Hey, Larry. Larry used Bob's phone to pretend he was Bob and try to figure out what happened and talk his wife into coming back home because Larry loves you very much. And she's like, "I don't care. I fucking hate you. You're stupid." No, I'm sorry. "I hate my husband. He's so stupid. I just wanted an excuse to leave anyway." "Well, please, he loves you. He's crying." And then, "I'm back. Here's your phone back. Yeah." "What did you do?" "What?" "You violated my privacy." "Yes." "You ruined my reputation with your wife and misused my name, and you insulted me, and you invaded my privacy, and I'm so eagerly, violently mad at you. Bitch, you broke up my marriage." Nope, doesn't trump. Privacy, marriage, privacy, marriage, privacy, marriage, privacy, marriage. "I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you back. I'm gonna kill you more, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you more, more, more." Alright, that's the way it went. So he's harassing Bob. "Bob, you suck, Bob. I hate you, motherfucker." Oh, sorry, this is a children's story. And Bob's like, "I'm tired of being harassed. I'm gonna stop you." Bleh. Bob wants to go to the landlady and get her to punish Larry. Listen now, children. What is the nature of this fight? Who's right? Who's wrong? And the number one lesson besides that when he goes to bring justice on Larry, Larry can say, but he did this bad thing to me. I did the bad thing, you did the bad thing. Marriage. Privacy. They're both wrong, but he's more right. But he's wrong because he lied and cheated on her. Okay, see, so in there's no the moral dilemma here. There's nothing to get emotionally violent about, to kill each other for, because if we try, we're both going to end up being thrown out. Maybe we'll die, you never know. But we're human, so we never assume fault. Okay? That's the way it goes. Well, I should just admit that my wife wants to be free of me, and I've done her wrong all these years. In which case, it really doesn't matter. My privacy! Yeah, well, you violated my privacy too. Oh, I guess we're even? Yeah, we're even now. Can we just ignore each other? Good idea! Yay! Now we're good. But they're not going to do that, are they, kitties? It's because they are turned away by their deluded self-centeredness, and they build delusion upon the real issue at hand. They're both personally at fault. And that, my children, is how you end war. It's so simple. Thank you for your time.